Clap.
Yo.
Alright, here we go. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Ego on Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman, Logan Creed, sitting to my side. And we're going to talk wrestling. We're going to show some things that we've added to our collection. But before we do that, I want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the J. Briscoe family, to the Genius Lanny Poffo family. Yeah. Both passed away recently. And I know a lot of people, you know, take away the personal side of it. You know, because it's a tragic time. I mean, when you lose, anytime you lose a loved one, it's tragic, you know, from a personal. But from a wrestling standpoint, definitely lost. You know, Jay Briscoe. That's a guy that, you know, many people had looked up to. And
Jay was in a car wreck.
Yeah. If you listen to some of the other things that, you know, like people were just like, oh my God, he was such a great person. Yeah. But there's tons and tons and tons of stories out there about him as a wrestler. And you know, with the Genius, like, dude was one of a kind, you know what I mean? Like, super smart. Here recently I'd listened to a bunch of his like shoot interviews and stuff, and they were really cool. I think he was on a podcast and I heard that. But Lanny was definitely a unique individual. So
I agree with that.
Definitely sending you know, thoughts and prayers out to their families and friends and fans and stuff.
There's a lot of Lanny Poffo. If you can find any videos of him telling stories,
they're amazing
because he's a good storyteller.
I agree. It's super cool, and he definitely, like I say, had a unique style about it.
Exactly.
So we've watched some wrestling, but we both kind of bought some things here recently to add to our collection. So we're going to take a few minutes and do what's in the bag, what's in the bag. You want to show what you bought, and then I'll show what I picked up.
Should I go from bad to worse? Or
yeah, from good to bad.
Let's do that. Because, okay, my best one, speaking of a Poffo, is a Macho. With the all-American look. I
like this.
I love that, man.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I got a friend price on that. It was $25. I got $20. But, I mean, I love it. It unbuttons in the back, but I'll be damned I'm going to ever take it apart because I'll never get it back on. Because these rubber clothes, even though it looks awesome, they're a pain in the butt to put on.
You could, like, pop his arms off or something.
You better have some time.
Yeah, it's a leave on.
And then, one of my favorite wrestlers, Bryan Danielson. It's funny, man. The other day, I come across a video of him talking on WWE about his Memphis Championship Wrestling days.
Wow.
And he actually tells the story of the first time I saw him in a Walmart parking lot on Highway 18.
And he tells the story about it.
And he told the story.
Cool.
He's like, because the dressing room was an RV, and the bad guys chased the good guys back into the dressing room. Yeah, it's the bad.
They don't work when it's a tent. You know what I mean?
It's like right there. I mean, it's an RV, and it was funny because like the Main Street Posse was in a limousine, and then the rest of them were in an RV.
Yeah, well, you know, Posse's got its connections.
Hilarious, man. But I was like, that's it. I mean, because it's literally the story.
Yeah,
man.
that's awesome.
So if you see it and you're like, well, where the hell did that happen? Walmart on Highway 18 in Jackson, Mississippi.
Too fun.
Yes.
Where's Walmart want to buy another show?
But then I got this lovely vibrating, as he just looked up, Kevin Nash.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This thing, that is as much. And
one leg moves, one.
No, they both move, but they do the pee-pee dance like the other guy.
I gotta go
and it's awful, man.
Well, I think this was these were designed for women. I don't.
It looks decent. Yeah, but it's got a red button here, and evidently it goes,
Yeah, it vibrates.
And then they put the screw in the best place ever. Told you to get screwed, literally, and put it in his butt. Crack. So I'm like, wow, poor Kevin. Yeah, I was like, it looks okay.
There's a few different versions of this, and they're all awesome.
But Kevin, it's like he gets some of the worst figures, man. Well, that's my 3 for right now.
Still got a figure.
Yeah, oh no, I bought it because it was so bad.
Yeah. So here's my bag, and I have a variety of stuff in there. So I picked up, to add to my Bendham collection, this Gold Dust. I have a small collection of probably 12, 13 figures. So I picked that up. And these came with a trading card, and you can kind of see there the card's kind of popping off, but it's pretty awesome. And these were sold at like Kmart and Dollar General and stuff like that. They were like literally $3 figures, and now some of these figures are a couple $100.
You can't find them.
That's it. So I really wish I would have picked a bunch of those up when I was 6 years old. You know,
no kidding.
Then I picked up
at the Dollar Tree every once in a while if I see them, because people don't buy them.
That's right. Then I picked up, to add to the micro brawler collection, I picked up the headbangers. Really big fans of these, and these were put out by the Major Wrestling Federation podcast. You can kind of see it right there in the background. So these are cool, and I'm a big fan of those. So Mosh and Thrasher.
Thrasher was one of the first named wrestlers I ever got to see wrestle on independent.
Oh, really? Where'd you see him at?
Actually, it was when Danny was still running the club downtown Jackson.
Okay.
Yep, him and Viscera were on the show. That was that was the big match.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
I picked up Jeff Hardy Ultimate.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's a pretty good looking card.
Yep, I really like that. Found this at dirt cheap. I think I paid like $12 for it, so pretty cool with that. I just picked this up, so we're filming at Walmart, and I went in and picked it up. But I got the $1 Million Man. I've started building this collection, and I've got...
I need the whole NWA, so if you see them, let me know.
I've got everybody that's on the back, plus the Ultimate Warrior, and I have loose, which I bought them, didn't realize they were loose. The people that took them out of the car, but then put them back on and just made it look like it was sealed.
That's not good.
And it said it in the description, but I just like looked at the picture. But I got Scott Hall and Hogan.
So I got Hogan, I don't got Hall and Nash. I can't find them.
Or maybe I don't know. I've got 2 of the 3.
Excuse me.
And they are loose, but I think I packed them up already. So if I didn't pack them up, I'll hook you up with those. Just give me my money back for them. And then I've had this in my cart. I've kind of been, you know, kicking the tires on purchasing it for probably 4 or 5 weeks before he passed. But I picked up this Jay Briscoe.
By coincidence?
Well, no.
Or did you buy it after he passed?
I bought it the day that I already passed. Wow. Because I literally had been for a couple of weeks, like I say 3 or 4 weeks, contemplating buying it. Because I have a Jay Lethal, and I was like, oh, I'm going to start building the ROH collection. The ROH collection and the Impact Wrestling collection I wanted to start building. And so I've like kicked the tires on this one for a while, and I've been kicking the tires on the Monty Brown as well. So I hope nothing happens to the Pounce. But with Jay passing, I went and bought it, picked it up for $30.
That's nice, man. That's really
cool.
So
the guy said he had it out and displayed. The jacket's in the background. You see he's got a jacket on that's in the back. Good. Yeah, everything looks good. Everything's really cool. It's just this the Figures Toy Company just haven't really. They got a bad rep because I think they're pretty fragile. But then, like, they may have signed you for this toy and then like 3 years later make it. Like,
I got you.
I know Ethan Page just recently had one released through Figures Toy Company. He said he had literally signed that years ago. So overall, it's cool. That's what I added to the collection, and pretty excited for that.
And they got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, they do have a bunch of. They've got like a Legend series.
WWE.
Oh
WWE.
And I think that's what the thing was. Is like I think they signed a bunch of these guys and just hoped they'd get famous. You know.
Yeah, and they did. They got a couple.
Yeah, they got a few. I would love to get the Michael Elgin. He's on here, and the Delirious.
I mean, technically, a lot of them are still ROH, and they're AEW ROH.
Yeah. So I would love to get those 2, and yeah, at least those 2. Those would be the next 2 that I'd really want to get. And if I get a chance, maybe I could pick up that Mark Briscoe. But these literally went overnight from like $30 to $40 a piece. Now they're like $150, $200. Even the Mark Briscoes was jumped up to close to $200. So gonna wait till that, you know, passes and you know.
Did you watch Mark and Jay?
I did.
I watched it. That was.
I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the
what I saw was put on YouTube. So that was good.
I watched the finish. It was real cool.
Very good dedication.
I started watching the ROH tribute show that AEW done, and I got a couple matches in, and it's just every time I kind of get into it, something happens, and I get a phone call or whatever. But
life.
Yeah, the little bit I've watched, they play. Wheeler Yuta and someone wrestle for the pure title. That was a pretty good match. And then they do Adam Cole versus Jay Briscoe in the Fight Without Honor. And it was just like replaying, you know, something that had already happened. But that match is real good.
Yeah,
it's a fun match.
I know what you're talking about.
And that's as far as I've got into it. I'm going to finish watching it. It's just...
I just thought Jay and Mark, as far as a dedication match, I hadn't seen a match that good since Brett and Chris Benoit did one for Owen.
I mean, it was very emotional for sure.
Very much so.
And just super happy that...
Like, I think they were crying before the match started and damn sure crying after. So...
yeah, like I said, I watched the last few minutes of that match, and it was real emotional. So, I was a huge Briscoes fan, and you know, it sucks. I mean, I you know I've been watching them since they were little skinny dudes in, you know, red singlets. So
Mark was too young to wrestle when we started watching.
So
in certain states, anyway.
Yeah, it just really sucks when you have guys that you know, and I mean. One thing when you pass and you're older,
and they got kids too, man, and wife, and
then his
kids
were
like
hurt.
A head-on collision.
Yeah,
so,
his daughters were hurt, so really messed up situation.
I mean, Lanny was 68. You know, like he lived a good life. Yeah. And I ain't gonna say Jay didn't live a good life. It's just how much more he could have lived.
Right, and then the actual funeral is on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen a little piece.
And
of it.
I just watched Mark
I'm not
talk.
good with that kind of stuff, man.
I watched Mark talk, and it's amazing. Like, I mean, the dude, they have such faith that like it's like a Comedy Central kind of segment with Mark. Like,
I know, but the little bit I saw of Mark, man, I had tears in my eyes. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, he was telling a story. I'm gonna say a story, but it ended up being a joke where, like, he was traveling down the road. He saw a guy squat behind a cemetery, and behind a gravestone at the cemetery, and he says, "Morning." He's like, "Nope, taking a poop," but he didn't say poop. So, you know, because their faith is so strong, man. Like, they know everything's going to be good. You know. So I started watching some MLW, and we were such huge supporters of MLW, and I just cannot get back into it.
It's just not
I'm
the
really,
same,
really trying,
dude.
Because there's actually some guys there that I really like to watch.
Me too.
But I just can't get into it, and I don't know why. It's not that it's bad. It's just it's different, right?
Yeah. Even the announcer, not the announcer, but the commentators are different.
Yep.
It just, I don't know. It's just, I haven't got into it.
But they have. We're filming this Tuesday, so Tuesday they're airing a new show on the Reels channel. Okay. And it's MLW Underground, and from the cold open I saw was really good. It really got me hyped, so I'm hoping
maybe that'll be it.
Maybe that show will get me back into it. I'm just not getting into the fusion. I don't like the style of it, I guess. But yeah, so pretty excited for that. And then I watched NWA USA, and it was pretty good. Again, NWA's another style I'm having trouble getting into, because it feels very lighthearted and not as serious. And I think, you know, I'm more of a serious, or at least maybe I just need that seriousness to get back into it.
Yeah, it helps.
You know, the comedy, the kind of, you know, tongue-in-cheek kind of matches, I'm really not.
I tried to get back into
and that used to be my you know, my jam. You know, I used to love that kind of match, but once I kind of stepped away and got outside that wrestling bubble, now coming back in as a, you know, semi-casual fan.
You want to see a fight?
I want to believe it, you know. But now there is a match on there. It's Kerry Morton and Joe Alonzo, and it's really good. Joe Alonzo is a guy that I talked to a few times about bringing in Ego. We could just never work out the details, but big fan of his. He was trained by, I'm pretty sure, Egotistico Fantastico, Robert Anthony. And again, at the time I talked to him, he was doing the Ego gimmick, the egotistical gimmick. So I thought, oh, this would be perfect. You know, Egotistico Fantastico and Pro Wrestling Ego would have been awesome. I was talking to Robert Anthony as well, his trainer. So just never could get, you know, just the dates and the
bring him in versus all Ego Ethan Page.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I just couldn't get things lined up, but I wish I could have. You know, I do have plans to kind of jumpstart Ego again. but on a limited basis, not running, you know, monthly, but maybe running 3 to 4 shows a year.
Sure.
And I got some things I'm working on in my head. I got to kind of get those figured out, get those put on paper, because when I come back, I want to present a different style of wrestling. It won't be it'll be some of the same faces you've seen in the past, but not all the same faces. And just want to have a different presentation than what I've presented in the past. So hopefully I can work on that and get something going to Ego here pretty soon. So for all you Ego maniacs, just, you know, we're working on it. I just want to do things different and kind of come back and give you something worth paying for. So
cool.
What did you watch? You watched the Rumble?
I watched the Rumble. That was really what I watched. I did not watch the main event, which was Roman Reigns. I knew he was going to win, so I just didn't really want to watch.
Who did he wrestle?
Kevin Owens.
Okay.
And Sammy turned on him. I knew that was going to happen too.
Oh, of course.
To me, it's the build up to WrestleMania, and I'm like, you have 2 pay-per-views left. He's got to do it now.
So we're getting Sammy and Roman?
I think it's going to wind up being a 3-way. Because who won the Rumble? Who do you think won the men's Rumble? Just guess. Or do you know?
Maybe Cody Rhodes. Is that right?
Cody
Okay.
Rhodes.
I thought it was.
Him and poor freaking Gunther. Gunther went he's like number 1, bro. Dude went 1 hour 15, and then basically had a match with Cody at the end for like a good 8 minutes at least. Gunther is Gunther is the best heel they got right now.
I love the presentation.
And when they did the Lesnar and him, I told you they were building up to that. The crowd just so if they don't do that match, they're crazy.
Yeah, I started listening to Eric Bischoff podcast, and he was talking about how he and somebody else were in a previous podcast. Kind of broke down the whole bloodline storyline and why it was good, and
it's
said
not bad.
And said the bloodline said it's been going on for like 2 years. Like it's been a long term storyline. Like, and if you listen, and again, I don't watch, but I listen to people, and they're saying how like that was like the best thing going that WWE was putting out was the bloodline stuff. So I'm like, that just goes to show you, man, like this long-term storyline, you know, the Hogan and Macho Man kind of thing, like, you know, that was a long-term storyline, and they're doing it again with the bloodline, and that's awesome, you know.
No, that's what you do. I mean, Hogan turned on Randy and the Mega Powers, and there's WrestleMania 5.
That's right.
But that lasted like 3 years. So there you go.
I mean, it's still beefing.
One's in the grave and one's still alive, and you know.
But
yeah.
Any surprise entrances in the Rumble? Anybody like that not on contract?
I really thought they might bring back a legend, but they didn't. No. Probably the biggest surprise was Lesnar was only in the match for like 3 minutes, and Bobby come out and eliminated him.
Oh, cool. And
everybody's like, wow. And I saw the interview from Raw, and he's like, kind of funny that Bobby who eliminated Brock Lesnar, huh? And Bobby dropped him with 2 F5s. I mean, but Brock dropped Bobby. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge Lashley fan, so.
But it just
in that case, I'm not a huge Lesnar fan either.
People have been waiting for years.
Yeah,
they did it one time, and to me, they just didn't have a good enough build up, and now they're trying to build it up.
Yeah, I saw a thing. It was like a quote or something from Lesnar, and it's like, I climb into bed with my wife every night, and after about 4 or 5 hours, all I can think of is Bobby Lashley. Like, so that's pretty cool.
He has a different mindset than I do, but okay.
If you're climbing in bed with Sable, what is your mindset?
No, that's true.
He did say after 4 or 5 hours, though, so I mean, Marathon Man.
Rhea Ripley won the women's.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad match. It come down to who did it come down to? It was 3 women. Asuka and somebody else, and I can't remember who the other somebody else was. But it was really, really, really good.
Nice.
To me, like the whole thing wasn't, but the final 3 were.
Yeah.
That makes I don't want to insult anybody, but I mean it was what it was, because you had girls from NXT, SmackDown, and Raw.
Varying skill levels.
People that were coming out, and I'm just like, wow, she's.
Was it Medusa at the Rumble? Did I read that right? Or was she not there?
In that match.
Okay.
Michelle McCool was.
I
She come out of the audience.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like, her music plays, and she's sitting there with her kids, and they're like, coincidentally, I have this on, and she takes off her vest and
just so happened to wear my wrestling gear to a wrestling show.
Brought my stuff.
She's probably not the first person that wore the wrestling gear to a wrestling show, you know.
But like there was like this big thing on Twitter. She's like, I haven't been invited to the Rumble, even though it's in my backyard in Texas, and then she's there, and then she got in. So maybe that kills the heat. So
yeah.
I mean, considering it is Undertaker's wife. So, you know, that does
or considering
help.
She was invited and was just lying.
Possible that too. But it may have been one of the two. Who knows?
So no big, like, I mean, she was the big surprise? Like,
kinda, yeah. I mean, to me, she would have been the veteran. I really expected Lita or maybe Molly, but neither one of them come. I mean, and in a way, I think that's good because it gives the other people that are really killing herself more time. So, it doesn't hurt to have one, and Michelle was it.
Yeah.
So.
No surprises in the men rumble?
I can't remember anybody. That was like just a...
No Marty Jannetty or Glacier?
Nobody like it. No.
Glacier. I love you.
No, there was a couple of them I thought Mike would show, and they just didn't. So.
Did Matt Cordona show up?
No.
I thought I read somewhere where he did.
Hell, was he showing up to sell toys? I was like, I didn't know. I
mean, that's why I'm a fan of his.
He's in the NWA. Last I heard, I guess.
Well, I know they brought his wife back or whatever, so I don't know if maybe they popped him in for a one night.
I think his wife was in the women's, but she didn't do very far.
Yeah, she came in, got through out, and now she's doing a Karen type gimmick, wanting to speak to the manager and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be pretty fun.
I deal with those all the time. So
yeah,
you understand.
Fun times.
Yep.
So, yeah, anything else?
No, that was all.
So I want to advertise for Battles on Championship Wrestling. Got Widow Fest coming up. It's a 2-night event, Friday, Saturday. I believe it's March 24th, 25th. If that's not correct, check the Battles on Championship Wrestling Facebook page. But got NWA Women's Champion Camille coming in.
Sure.
Got indie legend LaFisto coming in. So gonna be a super great night of women's wrestling. Both nights, LaFisto wrestles Nyx, who I think she's been on she's on Memphis Championship Wrestling a pretty good bit. Yeah, we used her here recently at an Ego event, or an event that we promoted for a guy. And so her and LaFisto Friday night, LaFisto and Camille for the NWA Women's Championship Saturday night. It's going to be at Richland High School. I'm promoting a match. So Ego's promoting a match, kind of a sample of what I'm wanting to kind of move toward. I've got Jaden Newman from Tennessee.
I thought it was going to be Doink the Clown versus Glacier.
Well, only that's a dream match. Got Jaden Newman coming in from Tennessee, and he's going to face, you know, I'm going to say an Ego OG and John Davis. So John's been a part of tons and tons of Ego events.
Very much so. And
Jaden's a guy I've wanted to book for a while. I've talked to him a few times and just never could get things worked out. So had this opportunity to like Friday night's going to be kind of like a United show. It's going to have several promotions there sending matches, and that's the match that Pro Wrestling Ego is sending, and I would dare to say that no one's going to top it.
That's
so
hard match.
That's a challenge to all the other promoters that are part of this event. Bring your A game, because we're going to show out.
Yeah, because that's some top tier talent right there.
For sure. And super excited. Jade Newman just won, if I'm not mistaken, he won this year's Scenic City Invitational. It was either maybe it was the 2022, because we're just getting into 2023. So pretty excited about that. So, and John Davis is that dude. So yeah,
I was told of another match, but I'm not going to say nothing because I don't know if it's allowed to be said.
I got you.
Well, I'll ask you after camera.
Yeah, ask me after camera. So until next time.
Wait a minute.
Oh, got one more thing.
Top 5 black wrestlers because it's Black History
Month. We did
Month.
talk about that. Sorry about that. I did forget. With it being Black History Month,
yes,
we wanted to list some of our favorite black wrestlers,
yep.
And I want to list black wrestlers that I enjoy from a fan base, and then black wrestlers that I enjoyed having in Pro Wrestling Ego that were I'm big fans of. So I'm going to throw out the ones I like to watch first, and then I'll let you do yours, and I'll end it with the Ego ones. One of my favorites is, and I mentioned him earlier, Monty Brown. Huge fan of the Pounce. Dude's just he was amazing. And I hate that, you know, for whatever reason, he got out of wrestling.
He stepped away.
But Monty Brown, man, like, this guy could have been TNA's guy. You know what I mean?
He should have been Lesnar before Lesnar.
Yeah. At least in Impact.
Or last.
You know, I mean, I know he made it to WWE, and he was in, like, the ECW thing.
ECW was it.
But TNA, like, really missed the boat on him.
Yeah.
So
they did.
He's the first guy. I don't guess these are in any particular order, but I'm a big fan of Titus O'Neil. Okay.
Slides under the Royal Rumble ring better than anybody else.
But you know, when he first showed up and he was with the tag guy,
millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. I mean, that stuff was so over. Next up, just because I've been knocked out by him before, Rodney Mack. I like Rodney. He's always done me good. Really big fan of his. You know, I was the unlucky participant of a white boy challenge.
Because I was too big.
2 nights.
Yeah, I was too big.
So
the true story behind that booking was I was too big and he was the right size.
Yeah, that man, I got killed.
I'm glad he got that booking.
Yeah.
So he tried to put this jaw over here.
Yeah, it was
like, me and Danny's wife watching, and she's like, he's unconscious. I said, yes, he is.
The next one, and this may be a little controversial, and I can't tell you any matches that I've seen or anything like that. I was just a fan of the presentation of what could have been. That was Shaniqua when she was with the Bashams.
Yeah, I could
I really like that kind of dominatrix kind of thing going on.
You know who my favorite black female wrestler is. So.
I really dug that. I thought there was more that could have happened. Don't know why it didn't happen. But you know, overall, that was.
Some people are only in it for a couple of years, bro, and then they're out the door.
Yeah, I mean,
because she was a big girl, but she wasn't a big girl. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Thinner people can't take the beating that the bigger people can. They just can't. The body's just not built for it.
And then this is a relatively unknown guy, but for like the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to find some stuff on him because, again, I'm a fan of what happened here in Mississippi, and I've been digging more on that. But Ray Candy is a guy that wrestled here in Mississippi. He was a huge dude, huge, big, but big. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't the most muscular guy, but I mean, I don't know his stats, but dude was probably 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Like, he was a massive guy. He ended up changing his name at some point. He was part of the Zimbabwe Express or something. And I found a match where he was like Black Stud Williams or something. But I've really been enjoying the Ray Candy matches that I've seen. He was never like, you know, Mr. Technical guy. I mean, he wasn't going to go out there and be Kurt Angle. But dude was just, I could see why he got booked. And, you know, and even like when I watched him as the Black Stone or Black Stud or Black Stone, whatever it was, like he's in like army shirt, like camouflage shirt and like green sweatpants. So, I mean, like he didn't show up to be the most impressive guy there. You know what I mean? But dude was good. Like Ray Candy was really, really good. Okay. All right, so you got 5?
Well, mine's going to be a little bit different because this is just from personal experience. It's guys I've worked, the guys that's helped me. I guess my top one, because technically he helped train me, was Rodney Mack.
Yeah.
And just a nice guy, man. He beat my ass. I ain't gonna lie. He shoulder tackled me so damn hard I thought I died one time. So, but I mean, he put a lot of work in with me, and it was cool. And he was a nice dude. And him and Jazz, which is another one of my favorite black female wrestlers. She was always a sweetheart, very nice, easy to talk to. You know, you see somebody on screen, you're like, wow, what a bitch. And then you meet her and you're like, wow, that's not even the same person. I mean, it's straight up,
I remember the first time I saw Jazz, like,
because she's so tall.
She's small.
She's this tall.
I was like, oh my God, like,
I'm 5'9", she's right here.
Yeah, like she was, the presentation you see on screen is not the presentation you get.
And she looks like she'll kill you on screen, and she's like the nicest person.
She's like 4'3" or something.
And I'm like, she's such a sweetheart.
She was great, man. man.
And the first question I ever asked her, I'm like, why didn't you talk on TV? And she's like, I don't know. They always say Paul Heyman's a mad genius, and that was his idea. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But then my second favorite female wrestler would be Awesome Kong.
Oh, yeah. Yep, you're
by
definitely a big
far
Awesome
my
Kong fan.
favorite would be those two. The other ones would be Kamala, which I got to manage him one time. I've told the story many times. But just a nice man,
Yep,
man.
he was a cool guy.
It was him, and then Pork Chop Cat.
Yeah, I love Pork Chop.
Pork Chop has helped a lot of Mississippi wrestlers.
Yeah, I agree. Pork Chop, I mean, he's been on several Ego events. I promoted a seminar with Pork Chop, and I was really sad that only a couple people showed up for that seminar.
Yeah.
Dude's a wealth of knowledge, man. Like, he may not be the household name that like JYD or Ernie Ladd or someone is, but man, like, Pork Chop is the man.
He told me a story one time about Andre the Giant being at Bret Hart's the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Bret Hart's dad liked to torture people. Well, he took Andre and put him in some kind of damn wrist lock. Well, Andre picks up Bret's dad, sticks his head through the ceiling, and he goes, and when he brings him back down, he goes, "You're lucky, you big bastard. I heard the phone ringing. I got to go text that phone call." So, if anything, I got an Andre the Giant story out of Pork Chop. But he also taught me, like, collar and elbow tie, man. And, like, if you're ever in a ring and he's there, talk to him.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you
agree.
can learn.
And I'm talking about, you want to, like, you always hear the stories of, like, JYD and how over he was, like, Mid-South. Pork Chop was he was the JYD in Alabama, man. Like, if you watch some of that stuff with, like, the Bullet and that CWF or whatever it was, the Continental he promoted, holy smokes, Pork Chop was... I'm telling you, if I ever run an event in Alabama, and it's something I really do have on my bucket list, because I ran a show in Louisiana, Mississippi, I want to hit Alabama, but Pork Chop's on that show, man. Like, if he's living, he's there, man, because, like, Pork Chop is the freaking man in Alabama.
Yes, very much so. Since I really just talked about, I talked about one more. It was Mike Carter.
Yep.
Like, he was probably in the ring, probably my best opponent.
Oh, I agree.
So, like, we beat the stuff out of each other. I'll try to keep it clean, but we did. I mean, we killed each other with chops and hits, and he killed me with a Van Terminator one night. You were there. I almost died. I mean, just one of the best matches I've ever been in my life.
Mike gave me my first chair shot, and I was like, I'm not taking a chair shot. And somehow I end up, like, outside the ring or whatever, and boom, right across the back, and oh my God, it hurts so bad.
He tries to knock your soul out, man.
Don't tell him you're not taking something.
No, don't do that, because then he'll do it.
But yeah, man, like, from a booking standpoint, guys, I really enjoyed booking. I'm gonna group these three guys together because I booked them together, and that was Left Hand Path of Trevor Aon and Zombie Dragon, and then the Ghost. Ghost
Silva.
Yeah, Eric Silva. And out of those three guys, man, like, I love Silva. Like, he's my favorite. Don't tell Trevor or Zombie. But, like, they were just awesome guys, man. And, like, I promoted, you know, like 10 straight shows based around their Left-Hand Path gimmick. Like, we had Walk the Path and War Path, and if it had Path in it, it became a title of a wrestling show. So those guys were amazing.
And then, like, Rondell Roosevelt, man, if it wasn't for him, when we was training, I would have never got into wrestling all the way. Him and Marcel Berry, man.
And those are three that I would put him, Rondell Roosevelt, Marcel.
Marcel was Captain Sparkle.
Yeah, Captain Sparkle, and Mike Carter. Those three guys kind of were grouped in with us as we were coming in. Love all those guys because we all kind of broke in together. And I've enjoyed every time I've had those guys on events. Orion Taylor was one of my favorite guys to book. Super cool, always willing to help. The Mightiest Duck, awesome guy, as well as O'Shea Edwards. I mean, O'Shea was a guy that everybody should have been booking. He was from, like, that Georgia, Alabama area, and nobody really was using him. And I'm like, give me O'Shea. Like, O'Shea was awesome.
He had a mouth on him. Yeah, so that was Yeah, when I interviewed him, he was a very good interview.
Dude, I mean, that's what sold it for me. Like, he came in, he did this. We had a guy there doing a documentary, and O'Shea jumped in. And I was like, holy crap, this guy can talk.
Yeah. I hated that he was getting where he was in ROH, and then ROH got bought.
Yep.
That sucked.
Yep. So, and I think I've named more than 5. But
oh yeah, we've named way more than 5.
Those guys were amazing, and
that's people that hit on a personal level. Like, I can look at those guys as like family.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Yeah. And for the life of me, I wish I'd wrote these things down because I really went blank.
Yeah, it was just an out of the blue idea. So.
It was Devin Nicole and her boyfriend, now husband, Raphael King.
Oh, yeah.
Devin Nicole, Raphael King. When I first started bringing people up from out of town, out of state, those were 2 of the first people that I brought in. I brought them in several times. Top notch all the way around.
Very much so.
Devin was like arena football. She played like the lingerie football league. She was a total badass.
Yes, very much.
Matter of fact, like I think she played against like Camille, because I believe Camille was in that as well. But those 2 were like super awesome. You know, wish I could have used them more. Fred Yehai is another, him and Sugar Dunkerton have always been really cool with me. Love those guys.
I haven't seen in a while is Fred.
Yep, I don't know. I was going to look him up today because I've been kind of like scouting people that I'm wanting to kind of with a whole new direction, and Fred's pretty legit, and he'd be a guy I'd love to get. And then I got to put John Davis and Vordell Walker on there as well.
John Davis for sure.
Favorite people, both of them would go out of their way to help you. John mentored me and the guys at Ego, and you know, like Ego probably wouldn't be where it's at if it wasn't for John. Vordell's came in and busted his butt for us a lot, and just super cool guys, man. Like really super cool guys.
And John's another one. If he's in the locker room, you need to talk to him.
For sure. I mean, him and Vordell both, man.
If
like,
it ain't nothing about something simple as a damn wrist lock or something, just anything. Learn while you can, because man, it's there to learn from. And you're stupid if you don't.
That's right. So, yeah. So happy Black History Month.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Watch more wrestling.
Watch wrestling.